The infamous game developer YandereDev got into some trouble on Twitter when outrage tweeted out these Snapchat DMs with the caption, "YandereDev unintentionally creating one of the funniest screenshots ever." The DMs read out with YandereDev saying, "This is abuse. This is power imbalance. I am being emotionally abused by you." And then the girl responds, "I'm 16. Skull then responds with the full version, which was posted by Gerald, where he says, "Nothing encapsulates YandereDev more to me than this image." The messages start with YandereDev saying, "You were the one traumatizing me." The girl responds, "I'm sorry." YandereDev responds, This here is trauma. This is abuse. This is power imbalance. I'm being emotionally abused by you." She responds, "I'm 16. He responds, "You have this massive blackmail over me." She responds, "You're 35. Illiterate Squid responds, "He's 35? Skull responds, "Yes. He's been in contact with the victim since they were 9, although it didn't become sexual until recently. Still weird." Skull then follows up by saying, "Some extras," showing some more DMs from YandereDev, where he says, "I am so lonely and miserable and depressed and unhappy. Of course, the one time a girl is actually nice to me, I got attached. You were so funny and fun and charismatic. It made me want to keep talking. I am not an evil predator who goes around raping little girls. I am a lonely, vulnerable man who made a mistake of being flirty to a girl who was a bit too young. Like, the physical difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old is like less than a 6% difference. So being attracted to a 17-year-old is nearly identical to being attracted to an 18-year-old. It's not really a black and white thing where a person transforms overnight as soon as they turn 18. It's a slow transformation over time." Alan 4 Numbers responds, "Not the pedo math." Shadow Cringelord says, "That's only 88.89% of 18. KNY says, "Literally this. Christ, you are extremely fucking selfish. Die. I am 14 years old." Cringelord also says, "How is he gonna justify this?" Showing DMs where the girl says, "I seem desperate." And then YandereDev responds, "Yeah, I think about that sometimes. 17 is 94.4% of 18. So therefore, being attracted to a 17-year-old girl is 94.4% okay." Buds for Buddies says, "What? 35? Gerald responds, "More than twice her age. She was 7 when he started developing the game." Razzle Dazzle says, "You have this massive blackmail over me." "Oh? So now you admit what you did was bad? Interesting." Gerald responds, obviously him talking about his dick size, seeming eager to see her nudes, and asking if she'd want to steal his virginity only seem like blackmail because there's no context. He's just a 35-year-old teen boy. How is he supposed to know it sounds inappropriate? Lex says, "YandereDev never fails to be a complete loser. I had low expectations, but this is just pathetic." Gerald responds, "Thought he couldn't possibly stoop lower after the last big controversy flood a few years back. But here we are." AutixCX then follows up his original tweet by saying, "Never mind, it got worse," showing Discord DMs between YandereDev and the girl, where YandereDev says, "Happy 12th birthday." She responds, "Thank you." YandereDev responds, "That's a big age for such a young woman. Has your period started yet?" She responds, "I don't know if I feel comfortable answering that." YandereDev responds, "It's fine, I'll keep it a secret." Powblock shows more Discord DMs from YandereDev and captions it by saying, "YandereDev is a dirty fucking bastard. I hope he rots in hell." It starts out with the girl saying, "Okay, I'll send them tomorrow. I'm at school right now." YandereDev responds, "That's fine, looking forward to it." She responds, "What do you want in the video though? I've never taken a nude before." YandereDev responds, "I don't mind, anything is fine." She responds, "Sorry for the late response, but one more thing. Because I'm underage, what if I get in trouble? Sending that stuff is illegal if you're under 18. YandereDev responds, "It's only illegal if you report it, and I trust you won't." Turkey Tom responds to all of this by saying, "What's the details on this cancer?" Mudahar says, "Man, I was planning a Yandere simulator video looking at the progress of this vaporwave from years ago. Now the whole project has taken a massive turn for the worst. Context is underage grooming allegations. If this message is real, I don't want to live anymore." Showing the DM where YandereDev explained the pedo statistics. Gracie says, "Since YandereDev is being cancelled," and then shows a DM from YandereDev that says, "Alright, I've got to make a statement. I cannot take DID seriously. Seriously, I don't think it's a real thing. I think it's a made-up fantasy that some people indulge in as an excuse to occasionally roleplay as different people. I can't take it anymore. I can no longer pretend like it's not the weirdest, dumbest, cringiest thing ever. It makes me uncomfortable and creeps me out. I don't want to see that weird crap in here anymore. I've made the decision to remove Chris from the server. I can no longer play along with someone's weird fantasies or pretend like their silly roleplaying is normal. Nuala responds, "Who is he to say he can't play along with someone's fantasy, as if he hasn't been pretending he's gonna make a game for 10 years. Quim responds by saying, "He's been cancelled for years. He's just getting more cancelled." Styles says, "YandereDev isn't cancelled. He's a criminal. Hope this helps." IRL Frankiestein responds by saying, "He even responded to it when it happened, laughing my ass off." He then shows this Q&A blog thing that YandereDev did, where he prompts himself with the question, "YandereDev doesn't believe that dissociative identity disorder is a real condition," and then he answers it by saying, "In short, I do believe that it's a real condition, but I also believe there are people who fake mental illness as an excuse for inappropriate behavior. One of the people on my moderation team claimed to have dissociative identity disorder. I was supportive towards him for multiple years. Gradually, after observing his behavior for a long time, I slowly grew skeptical towards him. The more I interacted with him, the more I began to doubt that he actually had a real DID. Eventually, I drew the conclusion that he was faking the disorder and was using it as an excuse to roleplay as one of several characters anytime he wanted. Faking a mental illness is a reprehensible thing to do, so I made the decision to remove him from the moderation team. My experiences with that moderator heavily influenced my understanding of DID and led me to feel doubtful towards anyone claiming to have DID. I gradually developed suspicions that anyone claiming to have DID was faking a mental illness as an excuse to spontaneously roleplay. I posted an announcement to the private moderators only channel explaining why a moderator had been removed from the moderation team. In this post, I expressed my skepticism towards people claiming to have DID. When I wrote that post, I was very fired up because I believed I had just caught someone faking a mental illness. In that post, I made a sweeping generalization about all people claiming to have DID, which was a mistake on my part. It is not the existence of DID that I am skeptical about, only people who may be lying about having it as an excuse for inappropriate behavior. Even then, I still recognize that I should not have allowed a negative experience with a single person to influence my understanding of an entire mental condition. It was a post hastily written in a heated moment and doesn't reflect how I actually feel. Spreading the post and making the accusation that I'm ableist is an example of how the anti-YandereDev community paints a false image of me without knowing the truth or the details surrounding a situation. In the time since the post was made, I have spoken to the moderator in question and learned that I was incorrect. He does, in fact, suffer from legitimate DID. I apologize to him for mishandling the situation, and, in the time since then, I have also developed a more comprehensive understanding of DID. It was a misunderstanding that lasted a few hours before it was resolved, and bringing it up years afterwards is a reflection of the fact that people are desperately grasping at straws to find any reason to discredit me. So that was his controversy with DID, but going back to what he's currently getting called out for, which is for being a pedophile, a YouTuber who is well known for covering Yandere Simulator and YandereDev, Cub Scouts, responds to the entire situation with this tweet where he says, "I won't be posting Yandere Sim content on my channel from this point forward. I read up on what happened from YandereDev's blog post, and I don't want to be associated with the future of that game, knowing what I know now. There's no reason to be talking to minors like that, ever. If you are a fan of an adult creator, and you are underage, and they start getting personal with you or rely on you for emotional/physical support, stay away from those people, because the intentions are always going to go in the wrong direction, even if you are a fan of them. If anyone asks if I responded to this, you can refer them to this tweet." A Kemi Y responds by saying, "And I thought this was a meme at first! I didn't realize that's actually what he said. I'm fucking passing away." Steve Rogers responds with this gif from The Lion King where Scar says, "Kill him." Kevin shows this image of a queen saying, "Off with his dick." Artist BB responds by saying, "Sees post, pain, sees it again, agony even." Deadpool X33 responds with this Family Guy clip.
"I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I just want to talk to him.
Dad,
This is ridiculous.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
It is not his fault.
I just want to shoot him. I just want to.
Dr. Gonzo shows this picture of Pikachu with a gun saying, "We can't expect God to do all the work." The Monster Man responds with this image of Keemstar saying, "Here's the deal. I want this guy killed. Clean shot." Another popular YouTuber who covers Yandere Simulator, Baju Mike, responds to Cub Scouts by saying, "I know especially for you this is probably hard. You are the Yandere Sim king. It just sucks all around, dude. But it's for the best." Mike also uploaded a video to his channel explaining to his audience why he's no longer going to be uploading Yandere Simulator videos, and Razif Lamau tweets this out with the caption, "The downfall of Yandere Simulator continues." Iron Aiden responds by saying, "Holy fuck, that's how you know this is really bad. This guy has been uploading Yansim content for years." Biju Mike then makes a tweet of his own where he says, "For those that are wondering about the Yandere Sim situation and why I decided to private the video." He then shows a screenshot of a YouTube comment he made where he says, "I private the Yandere Sim video, not because I think I said something wrong or anything, but just this entire situation has just made me feel sick, and I just don't even feel good about having a video on my channel talking about the situation that happened given how serious it is. I just want to make videos that people will enjoy, and that I enjoy making, and I did not enjoy making that video at all. I wanted to just let you guys know that I was quitting the game because of YandereDev's latest post, and that I can no longer support the game anymore given the things that have happened. Nor do I condone any of those actions. I don't know everything about it, but I think it's better to just leave it at this. As stated in the video, I will leave the old videos up because I have too many of them, and I know that many of you guys enjoy them as well as the countless hours of editing and memorable moments I've had with the game. Pretty much all the comments were supportive of my decision, and I really thank you for that, and all your continued support and understanding." Sleepy Drone responds by saying, "We are gathered here today to celebrate the size of this W." Seely Dreams says, "Feels weird to see the original crew of Yandere Simulator YouTubers jump ship, but it's understandable with what happened." Meebo says, "YandereDev likes women just like his game, underdeveloped." Rinny responds by saying, "And nobody was surprised." Static says, "In other news, fish were found in an aquarium." Beam responds by saying, "Insane bootlicking," showing this comment from Hubble 009 that says, "YandereDev, there is no need to think you are to blame. After all, no one was harmed by your actions, and if there are no victims, there are no culprits. In any case, it's obvious that the public made a big deal out of nothing. Someone wanted to raise the drama again, as it was a few years ago. I wish you to find the strength to survive this difficult moment. I am sure that your true fans will stay with you and support you." MX Soda says, "I'm surprised after all the sex licenses, and the body pillows, and the love doll inspired student, and the upskirt shot core mechanic, and the college essay worth of justification of an inventory system involving the minor MC flashing us, that people have shocked. It was a matter of when." Firecat Magic responds, "What, the licenses?" MX Soda responds, "Oh yeah, he tried to say the age of consent should be replaced with a sex license. That would allow adults to sleep with minors. Not good stuff." Porcelina says, "YandereDev in his game sucks, but they low-key served. Someone needs to reclaim them," showing characters from the Yandere Sim game. Razzle Dazzle says, "New YandereDev vid dropped," showing his face over the Colleen Ballinger apology video. Razif Lamau says, "I love the fall of Yandere Simulator. We smoke in that YandereDev pack." Loki says, "Honestly, the fan mods that actually finished the game are better." Razif Lamau replies, "The fact that Dark Deception finished a collab with him and they did it way faster." Mark Live XD says, "They can hire new ones. They'd probably not sound the same as the original VA, lol." Razif Lamau responds, "Nah, no one's gonna work for him anymore after he groomed minors. Watch that motherfucker use AI." Luigi the Probe Hunter responds by saying, "My sister's wedding, casual clothing versus Yandere Simulator's downfall, formal attire." Sanic responds by saying, "We stay winning," showing a Lego of YandereDev. But YouTubers aren't the only one quitting their involvement with Yandere Simulator, as after this news came out, the voice actors for Yandere Sim have also announced that they are quitting. One of the voice actors, Michelle Alaz, makes an announcement on her Twitter when she says, "This is not a choice I make lightly. I am suspending my participation from Yandere Simulator as a voice actress and voice director. I hope the game gets completed regardless, with or without me, as so much much work and love was put into it. Thank you and have a good night. I am a voice actor who simply voices characters. I voice a character in a game developed by an individual who is being helped by multiple volunteers like myself. I have not, nor will ever condone actions that harms others, especially minors, in any capacity. So my opinion on the offending matter is irrelevant, because I'm not at the heart of the issue. In terms of my voicing Yandere-chan, I am right now in a state of mourning. I've voiced her and others in the game for almost 10 years, and my contributions to the project are almost innumerable. I walked in a volunteer, loyal only to the project's development and completion. I did not join to be a defender or arbiter of anyone's actions outside of the project. This is a serious issue, so this choice is not made lightly in any meaning of the word. I am suspending my participation as a voice actress for Yandere Simulator. I still hope the game gets completed, and have my consent to work to continue being used with an exclusion of AI, which I will never consent to. Another voice actor for the game, Austin Hively, quote tweets Michelle and says, I stand with Michelle and will no longer be participating in Yandere Simulator as Senpai's voice actor. Thank you. Mulberry says, regardless that I was no longer the lead artist / illustrator and left officially as of November 14th, 2022, I support Michelle's and anyone else's decision to suspend participation on this project. Another voice actor called Caitlin Myers tweets out, I'm not going to be making a big post, as honestly I am completely disgusted. I will not be working on Yandere Simulator anymore going forward. It's been 10-ish years, and I've voiced a multitude of characters. I am grateful for the experiences and love I've had from the community, but having been 16 around the time I started working on the game, this sort of conduct from the creator is disgusting and unacceptable. There may be lines I have already recorded that show up in the game, but I will no longer support a project with someone like that running it. Frankly, seeing and hearing everything was incredibly disturbing to me. Adults, please stop talking to children on the internet. There is no reason or excuse for it. Wishing the victims the best. Another voice actor called Sean Chiplock also comments on the situation when he says, my participation in Yandere Simulator was only as far as an April Fool's video, and I don't foresee any future involvement. So please take this statement only as a, I was in it at all, so I need to make it clear. I wholly condemn YandereDev's actions and stand with my colleagues. As actors, we are so often told to act in the best interest of the clients we indirectly represent, even if it's not expressly true. And it is horrifying when we end up betrayed in the other direction because of someone we worked for. Focus on supporting the victims / their stories. The game company Glowstick Entertainment, that worked with YandereDev to make Yandere Simulator DLC for their game Monsters and Mortals, tweeted about the situation when they said, after reading YandereDev's blog post and listening to released audio recordings, we have made the decision to end all future sales of the Yandere Simulator DLC for Monsters and Mortals. The incident is inexcusable and extremely regrettable. It does not reflect the values held by Glowstick Entertainment or represent the Monsters and Mortals brand. As a result, we have put in a request to Valve to retire the Yandere Simulator DLC immediately. Anyone that has already purchased the Yandere Simulator DLC will still be able to access the content in Monsters and Mortals, but we will no longer sell the DLC on Steam or any other platform. And for those asking, yes, Aono's Lovestick Labyrinth, previously shelved, is now officially cancelled. Another voice actor for Yandere Simulator, Don M. Bennett, tweets out, Yandere Simulator, I haven't worked on the project since 2020, and will not return for future content. PM Seymour quote tweets Michelle and says, I will also be standing with Michelle on this one. We'll be backing away from any future work as Voodoo and other roles for the game. Hope you can understand my choice on this. Haley Parsley quote tweets PM Seymour and says, I am also standing with every person leaving this game. I am stepping back from playing Shirumi in the future, as well as any other roles in Yandere Simulator. PM Seymour then shares this screenshot from Reddit and captions it by saying, well, in this screenshot there's an email from YandereDev that says, replacing all voice actors would be remarkably difficult, so it's more likely that all voice acting will be removed from the game, and it'll just be a voiceless game. Honestly, should have kept it that way in 2014. Adding voice acting just added the amount of work necessary to finish the game. Blake says, why is there so much drama with this fucking game? Like, goddamn, laughing my ass off. Duru Senju says, I don't think this game is living past this one. Gianni says, such a tough position to be put into. Many fear it. You were living it. Sorry to hear. Proud of your strength strength in making that choice to brighter opportunities, which he will most certainly achieve. Okami Kinsoon says, the game is dead. It will never be made at all. Time for the creator to back their bags and hide now. He not famous for people to forget, and his sorry letter was saying it not his fault at all, as normal. That one I wasn't surprised. Not everybody was completely positive towards the Yandere Simulator voice actors leaving right now specifically. As a return of the Mari tweeted out, people are quitting work on Yandere Sim and cutting ties with YandereDev because of the whole grooming incident. But that makes me have to wonder why the fuck any of you even stuck with him in the first place, considering he's always been a nasty and depraved lunatic. You can't tell me grooming a child was the fucking tipping point, like come on. Cool Kid responds by saying, I thought he was doing it on his own when he had a team? Mari responds, I think the only thing he does solo is coding because of ego. He gets a lot of volunteers to do other shit. Gutsy says, why are people surprised he's a groomer? A major part of his game is taking upskirt photos of teenage girls. Like, how are people surprised? Plus, he's always been a weird freak about young girls. The upskirt thing isn't the first red flag. Isaac says, people say they are separate the art from the artist, but hyped up the art and gave the artist a platform for him to abuse, are now seeing the consequences of blissfully ignoring everything he's done wrong in favor of a game that will never see the light of day. Cub Holly says, literally! I can't sympathize with the voice actors because they stuck around throughout all the other weird shit he's done. They are heartbroken as if he wasn't already depraved and said weird shit in the past. Latutricus says, keep in mind that all of the proof has been publicly available for years. To me, it looks like they turned a blind eye until it got to the point where it would affect them personally. The Coco responds to Michelle by saying, I want to be glad about this, but I just can't. Many people, including myself, tweeted at you years ago with our concerns about YandereDev and his creepy behavior towards women and minors. Your response was to block everyone and dismiss the allegations. Atlas says, I don't understand why people are like, oh, this YandereDev stuff is so disappointing, I will stop supporting him. Because personally, I saw this coming 10 years ago, when he made upskirting high schoolers in middle school uniforms the currency in his stupid game. Juno says, like, I get that it can be tacky to be like, oh, I saw this coming sometimes, but like, I mean, come on. Oh no, who could have predicted that the man who is weirdly sexual about children would be weirdly sexual about children? Huge shock! Fork found in kitchen! Mimi says, people dropping Yandere Simulator now, even though YandereDev being a groomer and a creep has been public knowledge for years, like since his 4chan days, is so funny to me. But you know what? His downfall is all that matters, and I'm fucking here for it. Aiden Rose says, Yandere Simulator's all over my For You page, and all for the right reasons. Creator of Yandere Simulator, YandereDev, was outed to be a groomer, which has led the voice actors to quit and YouTubers to come out saying they will no longer be making content for the game. Stay safe. Coco says, YandereDev is allegedly a groomer, so I'm resurrecting the funniest interaction I've ever had with a niche internet micro-celebrity. They then show DMs between themselves and YandereDev, which starts out with them saying, YandereDev, what is your opinion on this image? It's very important. Showing an image of a crudely drawn human that looks like they're in the process of humping something. YandereDev responds by saying, I am fully aware that you probably won't care about any of the information that I'm about to share with you, but I wanted to make this knowledge available to you anyway. Public humiliation is a very profitable entertainment industry. Even if you have no skills or talents whatsoever, you can quickly get millions of views by making a video where you ridicule someone. It's even easier to get views if you ridicule a YouTuber with lots of subscribers, because the YouTube algorithm will push your video to each of that person's followers. I've been targeted by drama YouTubers who make trashy tabloid style videos where they demonize and vilify me, because they know these videos will get them tons of attention and money. The majority of claims they make about me are heavily exaggerated or outright false, and it's trivially easy to debunk pretty much everything they say. However, people value entertaining narratives far more than they value truth and reality. If I treat my fans like kings and queens, it doesn't matter, because YandereDev treats his fans bad is a more entertaining narrative. If I am a competent programmer, it doesn't matter, because YandereDev sucks at code is a more entertaining narrative. If I am attracted to adult women, it doesn't matter, because YandereDev is a pedophile is a more entertaining narrative. In short, I've been selected as a human sacrifice for the public humiliation entertainment industry because of my subscriber count. Numerous false narratives and untrue accusations have been made about me, because the more scandalous the drama is, the more clicks and views people will get. I have been turned into a punching bag for the internet to harass and abuse, not because I'm actually a bad guy, but because I've been framed as a bad guy. It can all be summarized by one very simple statement. Your reputation is determined by what people enjoy saying about you, even if it isn't true. You've been manipulated by clickbait YouTubers who painted a false image of me so that they could get easy attention and ad revenue. The mental image of me that exists inside your imagination is completely unlike the actual me who exists in real life. As a result of being portrayed as a villain by dishonest YouTubers, my life has been absolutely destroyed. I have been harassed in various ways on a daily basis for the past several years, and the harassment has only grown more intense with the passage of time. It's safe to assume that I will continue to be harassed every day for the rest of my life, and that the severity of the harassment will only continue to intensify. There is no reason for me to have any hope for the future. I don't even have a future anymore. The harassment isn't going to stop until I'm dead. Every time I ask myself why I should keep living, I fail to find an answer. Being harassed on a daily basis for multiple years has made me severely depressed and robbed me of all motivation to work on the game project that I've dedicated 7 years of my life to. It's impossible to be productive while experiencing abuse and mistreatment every hour of the day. The game that I'm developing would definitely have been finished by now if I have never been made the target of a multiple year-long harassment campaign. Even when I keep my head down and don't do anything to attract attention, people constantly invent new reasons to harass me. My life is ruined and can never be repaired. The only thing I wish for in life is peace. Please leave me alone. If you want more details, go here, yanderesimulator.com/links. They then respond by saying, oh yeah, woo, but it failed to send because they got blocked. Simp Emon says, me at the downfall of YandereDev, showing paparazzi around a famous person, wearing a very extravagant dress to a red carpet event. Mars Mofo says, y'all are surprised YandereDev is a pedophile? Bitch, he made a game about taking photos of teenagers' panties. What did you expect? Not YouTube Kid says, now that YandereDev is officially being packed the fuck up, who wants to share their favorite cringy/weird factoid about Yandere Sim's development? I'll go first. Senpai on the February 17th, 2016 build looks like this for no discernible reason, showing that in builds before and after that one, the Senpai looks normal, the Senpai looks consistent, but on that build in particular, he's wearing sunglasses and a cool hairdo. Not YouTube Kids follows up his tweet by saying, I gotta add a few because I'm seeing a lot of repeat answers. When the bullies got introduced, he changed one of their students' profiles because he didn't want to imply that this character was a lesbian, showing that he changed the pose from them making a V symbol under their mouth to over their eye. He also tweets out, this character's name directly translates to placeholder in Japanese. She has been in the game for several years and he has not changed it. When the character Mizumi was first introduced, her character design was a one-to-one recreation of the character Galacto-chan but with dark skin. This was changed later on. Over half of the characters that populate the school don't technically belong to him, most of whom are either from other pre-existing characters or are outright stolen. Best examples are the Gaming Club and the Photography Club. In the base game 2020X mode, there is only one confirmed person of color, and her lore is strange. Throughout most of the game's life, YandereDev was using a stolen grass texture with the creator's name blurred out. When the guy confronted him about it, he replaced it with a completely identical grass texture. Throughout most of its development cycle, YandereDev was admittedly against including LGBTQ+ characters in his game. However, in the game's 1980s mode, he had a rather sudden change of heart. Remember when he fumbled their likenesses so bad they had to be redesigned multiple times? Magitweet says, 100% gotta be the time he put Mystery Inc. in the game as the detective club. Vmoth says, I think it's important to know that the guy based off Scooby is named, I shit you not, Scooby Dooby Doo. Ale says, half of the characters are named after random Japanese words that he Google translated. Razin responds by showing a picture of Google Translate Japanese to English and captions it by saying, YandereDev when he needs a character name. Sanja says, the crazy character names maybe? The one art club kid named Pencil. Pencil? BZ quote tweets Not YouTube Kids and says, YandereDev's concepts for rivals were odd. One is a pedophile and the other is Senpai's sister. Ivy says, ah yes, the high school you were not allowed to attend unless you were an adult. Enver says, I liked how hard he tried to make it look like he wasn't making a game about killing and sexualizing high schoolers by making such a weird lore to make so that all the students at that school are over 18 years old. Brandon says, dude couldn't even finish the damn game first. Schizoboob says, there was a script in the game that would check the state of each NPC, with else if statements that would wound up to be to around 4K lines, and it would run every single frame. This is one of the many performance issue catalysts in the game. Sigma Syndicate responds by saying, it wasn't just running the script every single frame, it was running the script per NPC per frame, so the overhead increased massively with every character and feature added to the game. Wild how he had every single NPC run multiple scripts at the same time. time for every single frame. It was possibly the worst way imaginable of managing a lot of NPCs. Slimy Yogurt says, it's a basic one, but I'm a big fan of the toothbrush designed for up-close professional animations that had like a million polygons and would tank the game if you went into the room with it even though it was completely useless. Creepers Jeepers responds by saying, definitely gotta be the 5,000 polygon toothbrush, showing an excerpt that says, the heaviest model in Yandere Simulator is actually a toothbrush. With a massive 5,592 faces, this model was originally designed for realism in CGI commercials, but YandereDev decided to put it in the game as a small decoration. Twy says, definitely the way that accidentally hitting a key that's less than 2 inches away from the W key triggered a debug command that would instantly reset all of your progress, regardless of whether or not you even had the debug menu open, without even asking if you were sure the key. Darko responds with this screenshot of YandereDev having trouble with code in a tweet where he says, God, I wish there was an easier way to do this. And the code is just like repetitive else-if commands. Real Trubbish responds by saying, if else, if else, if else, fuck! If else, if else, if else, if else, if else, if else, fuck, I literally just can't. I can't read this shit. Peter Griffith says, there was one Mega Chad moment of him where he was so pissed off at a particular mod of the game to the point where he coded the game to devastatingly crash and blue screen your computer if it detected the mod running. Vizak responds by saying, Cuphead took like 7 years to make because everything was hand animated, but YandereDev barely made a demo in that time. Kat responds by saying, not particularly weird, but I semi-regularly think about him declining TinyBuild's offer to publish the game, which included a full dev team to help him make it because he wanted creative freedom. This was right as Hello Neighbor was popular as well, which is still so crazy. Ghoulbro says, that time he hired TinyBuild to help him code the game, and fired them because they were fixing his mangled spaghetti code. The existence of Fun Girl, actual name, an Easter egg character who only exists to be a ripoff of Gashter, and nothing else. Uncle Willie responds by saying, my favorite one was when he played Yakuza 5, liked it, and said, yeah, I think I'm gonna make my game more like Yakuza actually. And when literally everyone was like, hey, don't, that's a terrible idea, he took it super personally and threw a fit about it. Curvyx says, YandereDev made a Persona 3 fanfic where he made the protag have sex with a persona. Mechanamu says, in the video where he talks about Persona 5, he pointed out that one of the characters looks like the Yandere protagonist. That character is Shiho. If he played Persona 5, he would know what happens to her. I find the comparison interesting because Kamosita looks like Yandev. Kamosita, the game's first boss, is an abusive gym teacher who treats students like crap and harasses female students. Shiho is one of the protagonist's best friends, and after Kamoshida calls her for after-school training session, she attempts to take her own life. For context, Kamoshida looks like this. There is a crossover with a mobile porn game for some reason. If I had a nickel for every time Yandere Simulator had a crossover with a porn game, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, showing that Yandere Simulator had a crossover with a game called Boobs in the City, and Aika reminded us that there was a third crossover with a game called Project QT. SuiXG says, here's an actual weird fact. The game Crush Crush contains Ayano as one of the girls you can date, and it later got released on Switch, which means Ayano, Aishidu, in fact exists on Nintendo Switch thanks to Crush Crush. Blair says, the entire group of delinquents are based off of Ryuji, and Kanji maybe, from Persona, and one of the student council people is based off of Kokichi, Uma from Danganronpa. He would delete comments if you pointed out either of these things when both were first released. Dreamcast Turnip says, him just putting Sans in the fucking game, showing that he made his own version of Sans for Yandere Simulator. Hex Invasion says, I will never shut up about this. Team Skull was in the game as an Easter egg at one point, but got removed when the remade Delinquents came out. Mousy says, one of the last elimination methods he added was dropping a whole air conditioner on another character, but it was so buggy that the characters would just die just by touching it, even if it was already on the floor. XX Dunkin' Donut XX says, YandereDev once spoke to me about his anti-piracy measure for his game would be like, basically TLDR, Yandere-chan with a pirate eye patch, and Senpai rejects you for being a pirate. Futuba Sakura says, he gets excessively mad if you imply any of the characters would like the same gender. I Am Epic Gamer says, he suicide baited multiple other dev teams into not making their own version of Yandere Simulator. If I remember correctly, he's done it 2 or 3 times. Selby Snail says, the real thing I can think of is from a Kappa Kaiju video, where YandereDev really wanted an inventory system where you could ogle the protag's panties, and when his supporters at the time said to dial dial it back and make it more modest, he had a temper tantrum. Fun. Used Soda Cap responds by saying, taking upskirt pictures of high schoolers not only being possible, but a mechanic where the player could use them as in-game currency. Bjor says, we shoulda knew something was up when he made a whole system about taking pictures of panties. Vosgoth says, the MC Ano also comes from an asset store and never even tried to alter her design in any sort of way, even in present time. Assets aren't bad. Using them as your main design for years instead of a placeholder, especially for the money he's made, is... Aika says, he hates his fans and she's a stand-in for them. In the Myth says, isn't Akino a store-bought Unity asset? Sui XG responds, yup, a recolored one. Lottie Pink says, this was Ano's original design, but he decided to keep the default Unity asset store 3D model as her official design. Fossil King responds by saying, I think he put his sex doll, which he broke by the way, as an actual character in the game named My Waifu. Might be remembering it wrong. Virtual says, My Waifu is based on his broken sex doll. Zach Kennedy responds by saying, self-defense, incompatible. Spoiled Plick responds by saying, it was a low-tier sex doll meant to represent Samus Aran from Metroid. He managed to break the fucking thing within 48 hours of owning it. He also used game funds to purchase it. Ivy says, I don't remember the last time I laughed so hard on Twitter as I have reading this thread. The broken sex doll, Scooby-Dooby, green pencil, I'm in stitches. I knew this guy existed and there was some kind of game in progress, but I had no idea how fucking hilarious the rabbit hole was. Thank you, everyone. The hashtag RipYandereDev then starts trending, and there's some pretty good tweets with the hashtag, like this one from Xenodizzy who says, am I losing my mind? This is so fucking funny. Showing that RipYandereDev is trending right under a headline that says, US carries out first federal execution in 17 years. T says, RipYandereDev. He might not be dead, but his career in coding sure is. Showing this image of Virgin YandereDev, who hasn't finished a single game in 6 years, has literally some of the worst code ever written, made a game for edgy 12-year-olds and pedophiles, can handle absolutely no criticism. I mean, just look at his face. Throws tantrums like a child, consume the cum chalice, an actual pedophile, versus the Chad Scott Cawthon. Made a bajillion games in like 2 days, made a franchise loved by all, good Christian man with a family. Games have a completely incoherent plot, never explains anything, and leaves it up to the fan base to figure out. Exotic Butters, took criticism on his Christian games to heart and decided to fully embrace it. Holy shit, Sans is purple guy? Not clickbait gone sexual. Basically started a new age of indie horror games and made jump scares cool again. And for those of you who don't know, Scott Cawthon is the developer of Five Nights at Freddy's. Yo Mama Ba says, Yandere Simulator at the beginning of the decade versus the end, showing two identical screenshots of the game. Wendy says, Nar, dude, what the hell? Showing an excerpt from YandereDev talking about his game where he says, first of all, there are no sexual situations visible anywhere in the game. Second of all, age of consent is different everywhere in the world. In some countries, it's as high as 20. In other countries, it's as low as 9. Scene of Delad says, YandereDev being outed as a groomer is the equivalent of water is wet information. 10 years of the lazy development and scamming have finally come to an end, with Dev finally realizing the true piece of shit he always was. Rocky says, YandereDev is an internet hall of famer, just a guy who blatantly wanted to make a vehicle for his snuff fetish, being forced to try and make an actual video game for a decade. Michael responds by saying, heavy is the head that wears the cum chalice king's crown. Kizzy says, the fall of Yandere Simulator was not on my 2023 bingo card. Lex says, YandereDev never fails to be a complete loser. I had low expectations, but this is just pathetic. Kagunia's top gal says, who could have guessed Yandere Simulator was a creepy pedo? Showing a picture of him. Memeball responds by saying, this trustworthy looking phonotype? No way. Showing that over the years, YandereDev has really aged poorly in the looks department. Aurora says, YandereDev got exposed as a groomer? Wow. That is so shocking. Would have never expected that in a million years. Atlob says, YandereDev is a groomer. Come join us, YandereDev. And then showing a picture of a bunch of YouTubers who were outed as pedophiles, or some of them are more alleged than others. But regardless, they say, come join us, YandereDev. The Cheeseman responds, I do not recognize a lot of these people. Should I keep it that way? Taluli responds, absolutely. Kel's LTLGLCCGF says, wait, that's YandereDev? I thought he was Asian. He just an Asian fetishizer? Veggie responds by saying, always has been. Ken's GF responds, I should have known. Mo Sleazy says, YandereDev should have learned from the Ice King.
She's 13 years old now.
Oh, dang it!
Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Snick with an ATM says, YandereDev is trending. Has he finally finished that goddamn game? Oh. And then falling asleep. Manny Jameson says, Yandere Simulator will never be finished unless he lets someone else take over the project and disappears from the internet. After this fiasco, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses a huge section of his development team. I wonder if Michelle Alaz will quit. Well, she did. Snick with ATM responds, I still remember when Kappa Kaiju did his video calling Alex out for dragging his feet on this game for 6 years straight. That was over 3 years ago. Pluto responds by saying, bro was busy talking to children when he should have been finishing this fucking game. It's been like 7 years, it feels like. Payne responds, as of April 2024, it will have been 10 years since he started development. Dolly Dream responds, it's actually really sad how for a good portion of people, our reactions to the situation are disappointed but not surprised. Josar Stan says, unfortunately not. To the surprise of 0 people, he is involved in pedophilia. Relbot says, friendly reminder, this man pulled the suicide card to shut down projects and act like the victim so he can look good. The truth is already out there. Stop supporting this man. Quote tweeting a tweet from 3 years ago from Rosilli, who says, he threatened suicide and got the creator of Watashi no Mono to stop development and tried to do the same to the Lovesick project. Cancel this guy, come on! She then shows various Discord DMs. The first one is from Homemade Meal, who says, so in short, you were asking me to go to my entire community and say, hey guys, my game was fake the entire time. My coding is bad and I'm starting from scratch because the game is trash in general. Sorry, you can't leave the fan base now. YandereDev responds, yes, because that's my understanding of the situation, and it would be nothing short of honest and transparency to admit this to your audience. Homemade Meal responds, I took people's suggestions. That doesn't mean I'm incompetent or bad at anything. YandereDev responds, I don't know what to tell you. It's like I'm speaking to people who come from 2 completely different realities. In one reality, WNM is a sham. In the other reality, WNM is a genuine attempt at a game. What I do know is that people feel justified in attacking me, or lose faith in me, or withdraw financial support from me, because they believe that WNM is proof that I could be doing my job faster. But from what I hear, WNM is held together with bubblegum and band-aids, and you've even had to reboot development from scratch. So if I was making a video saying, guys, I don't have enough income, and the response is, you don't deserve income, WNM is proof, then I have to follow up by explaining that WNM isn't an example of a well-developed game, and it would suck ass to have to do that, since I hate drama and discussing other games. So if you come clean to your audience, then there wouldn't be an ugly, messy situation for me to have to deal with. The irony isn't lost on me. It's possible that I have an entirely incorrect understanding of the situation. Maybe the volunteers and ex-volunteers I spoke to were exaggerating or mistaken. I've been told that X is 2, which is why I've drawn the conclusion that X plus X is 4. Maybe I've been misinformed about X. What I do know is that when people attack me, mistreat me, abuse me, and harass me, their justification is Watashi no Mono. You were working on a project that negatively impacts my well-being, and when I ask you, can you please tell the people in your YouTube comments to not be shitty towards me, you won't even agree to do something that simple, that basic, that humane. Homemade Meal responds, you were literally asking someone else to take down their hard work to better your hard work. That's not basic and humane. And if all this stuff you've heard about YandereDev isn't enough, we got the final nail in the coffin coming from Santa Decides, who officially declared that YandereDev is on the naughty list. And that is about it for the Twitter reactions to all of this. Pretty crazy stuff, especially if you didn't know anything about YandereDev prior to watching this video, just kind of like how I knew nothing about it before reading these tweets. Some of the stuff is so ridiculous, like the million polygon toothbrush and the panty currency. But I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this know more about YandereDev than I did prior to making this video. Or maybe you haven't, so whatever thoughts you want to give as a YandereDev expert or a YandereDev newcomer like myself, I would love to hear it in the comments section below. If you don't want to miss out on future Twitter drama, don't forget to subscribe to this channel with notifications on. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.